All
We're
right.
live.
Live. Hello, everyone out there in 50 plus and fabulous world. It's nice to see everyone today.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day. I'm making sure we're going live in this event, so it's all over the place.
Kind of a rainy, overcast day here in Chicago.
Well, in Atlanta, it is overcast, but right now it's sunny.
Wow.
Yeah.
You said it rained hard this morning there.
It did, but we're supposed to get some more rain later today and tomorrow and the day after.
Wow. Is it your rainy season or?
I think it's been like that all year. Truthfully.
Yeah.
It's been very rainy all year. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. Interesting. Where it rains hard in the places it rains over and over, but like in California, they'd kill for that. They would love to have the rain.
I'm sure.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. They have like a drought all the time. I talked to my sister and she's like, oh, we could use the rain. So, and they have those fires, but I don't know.
The rain.
Huh?
We're taking all the rain.
Yeah.
We got it all. Sorry.
Maggie has a lot of rain in Cincinnati too. So
yeah, it's gonna be raining the next couple days. So, oh well, we'll be here.
Anyway, we had a beautiful weekend here. Beautiful. And outside, didn't have to put on a coat or sweater or anything. Just throw on your jimmies and throw on your shorts and head out. It was really fun.
What are jimmies?
Gym shoes.
Oh, okay.
Okay. That one. Jimmy's
shoes. Get out and run around.
Jimmy's. Okay.
Yeah. So we're in this 50 plus and fabulous group every week at this time. And we're so thankful to Kim, who's the administrator. She kicked this group off not too long ago, and it's really, really grown. She's done an amazing job. So thank you, Kim. And Purse Strings provides free online tools and resources to help women make smart financial decisions for themselves and for their families. We're all things financial. So we have attorneys, we have lenders, we have realtors. And I know, Aleta, you're formally not a realtor, but you're what do you call yourself? I mean, it's different.
No, I just can't use that title because it's trademarked. I'm still a real estate agent, but okay. Because I make a long story short, chose not to be a member of the board of realtors. I can't use the term realtor.
Got it.
So I'm a real estate agent. I'm an associate broker. I've still been in business over 30 plus years. So wow. It's the same. Awesome. I just can't use that particular term. And people, they know that term and they just throw it out there. But
yeah.
I never knew that was a trademark term.
Yeah.
I always thought it was like the title of a profession. Interesting. No. Real estate agent.
Yeah. They took that term over.
Well, thank you for schooling us on that because that was important to know, and we didn't know that. So, and we're glad that you're with us today to share all things this crazy real estate market is right. And so you said 30 years. Has it always been at Atlanta?
Yes. Well, no. I was licensed in North Carolina for a little while.
Okay.
Charlotte, and was in the process of getting my license in Florida. And then I just pretty much things changed. I had my own company then, and my mother got ill, and make a long story short, I basically just said that was going to be too much for me and try to take care of her as well. So I stopped. Yeah,
I hear you. Right. Women, what do they say? It falls on the oldest daughter, and
no, because my brother, my brother he was the caregiver for a lot of that.
Wow.
So he knew I didn't like Boston, so he was looking down here in Atlanta, and he says, "Well, do you want me to go back? I'll go back, and then you just come and relieve me." So that's what I basically did. I would come up once a month and relieve him and give him some.
Nice.
That's some good sibling teamwork.
Yeah, we did.
Nice. I like it.
Did it. Great. Well, we're glad that you're here, Aleta, to share your wisdom and your expertise on all things of the real estate market. So I'll let Maggie do the formal introduction.
Yeah, and then we can get started. So before entering the real estate industry, Aleta had a modeling career, which gave her a chance to go all around the country and all around the world. Her fusions of the two worlds came up with the name Your Model Living. Her passion is to serve with a global perspective. You are a native, you said, to Boston and a 30-year resident of Atlanta, and you feel that you understand many needs of potential buyers and sellers in every part of the real estate transaction. Very focused on providing exemplary service for both buyers and sellers in searching of finding home, and more specifically, their dream home. So we're so excited to have you here. And we're just going to have a little conversation today about, the markets, and we've just heard it's crazy stuff. So anyone who's on, you can more than welcome to ask any questions throughout. But we do have some things we do want to talk about. So, when we got on our call talking about what we're going to talk about, you're all about talking about negotiating in a seller's market. What is a seller's market?
Well, the seller's market basically is that it's very low inventory and there are more buyers than sellers available. So that creates a market where when you're making an offer, usually the seller has multiple offers on their property. And that's pretty much almost every house that I have made an offer on in the last, I'd say, 4 months.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's impressive. Great. Yeah, I can see how that's great for sellers for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you prepare almost to be competitive in this?
So for the buyers, it's very challenging. I'll be honest with you. This is something that they should be doing anyway, but even more so now with a competitive market like this, the buyer has to have all their ducks in a row. I mean, before they even really come and talk with an agent, they need to speak with a lender and get pre-qualified or pre-approved, whichever, because they're pretty much the same thing depending on the lender that you're working with. They might call it pre-qualified or they might call it pre-approved. But basically, you have to give them the documents proving your income and proving the monies that you have for your deposits and things like that. How long you've been on your job. So you definitely have to go to a lender to get all of that done. And so that you know the amount the highest amount that you can go up to. Now, you don't necessarily have to go up to that amount, but at least you have a better understanding of how much your purchasing power is. So that's
you can borrow from the bank.
Yes. And that's probably the first and most important thing. And then the second thing in this market is that you need to know it's not for the faint right now. If you have no money, it's going to be hard. It's really going to be hard. Or you'll have to look at a different type of property. I mean, every house is not a multiple offer situation, but the houses that are not are usually houses that you don't want to buy.
There's a reason for that.
So you have to have money for your earnest money, because now earnest money is a little higher than it used to be. Or if you are putting down however much money that you're putting down, say for instance, you're doing a lot of people try to put as minimum amount down as possible. Well, nowadays, if the seller's looking at that and they only see you putting 3.5% versus 10 or 20%, they're going to go with the one that's the buyer that's a little bit stronger. So you need to have your finances in order as well.
And can you explain real quick what the earnest money is?
So earnest money is your good faith money, basically. So when you make an offer on a property, you're saying, I'm serious about this offer and I want to move forward. And you are putting a certain amount of money, whatever that may be, $5,000, $3,000, $10,000, amount of money down and stating that, let's see, what's the best way to put this? Because you can lose that earnest money.
Oh,
So-
really? That's
Yeah.
good to know.
So you can lose that earnest money if you have contingencies in the contract. You have a financing contingency. Down here in Georgia, we have a due diligence time period where we used to say, 7 to 10 days that we could change our mind for any reason. Well, because it's a seller's market, that's gone out the window. And so now, and some of the contingencies are gone out the window too. Some of the financing contingencies are gone. Some of the appraisal contingencies are gone.
Wow.
So you have to really know that, one, you want this house, and two, that you are a strong buyer and you can move forth, because any contingency, once it ends, if you don't move forward with purchasing the property, you could lose that earnest money.
Oh, wow. That's good to know, especially now when it's a seller's market. So you get your pre-qualification or your pre-approval. What else would be necessary, to stay competitive?
Well, again, so you have your pre-qualification. If you are doing, I only recommend this if, one, your credit scores are really good, and two, you have a job that you have good job security, and you know that you're not going to be losing your job within the next month or so. Removing the financing contingency. I have done that with some people, but there's some people that I can't do it with because I know that there's a possibility that they might not qualify at the end to get the loan. Something will happen, and I don't want them to lose their earnest money. So, but that is one of the things that a buyer can do, is remove the financing contingency. I've seen some people remove the appraisal contingency, meaning if you offer, say the house is 300,000 and you offer 310, okay? And you say, you'll make up the difference if the property doesn't appraise for the 310, that you will make up the difference with the $10,000 yourself. Okay.
Right.
Some people are doing that. Some people are saying, no matter what the appraisal is, we will make up that difference.
That
That
can be a risky one.
and it could be that it's lower, meaning that the property, instead of it coming in at 300, it comes in at 290. But you're still saying, well, I offered 310. I'm making up that difference. I'm still going to guarantee that price that I give you. You have to think about all those things when making the offer. And you can't just arbitrarily just do that on every home. You have to, your agent and yourself, you have to look at the comps in the area and see what that house can command, pretty much. If it's in good condition, if it's in a community that there are other homes that sold for more, maybe. All that comes into play. It's not for the weary right now.
And you can definitely tell that it's not one size fits all. I mean,
No.
It's definitely conversations that you need to be having with your real estate agent. You need to make sure where you're at, because I can definitely see in the situation where people can definitely overspend.
Yes. And sometimes I don't recommend, like a lot of people say, well, I'll offer them 20,000 over list price. Sometimes I don't recommend that. The last couple of houses that I've sold, we did not pay over list price.
Oh, wow.
We didn't pay over list price. We gave them their asking price, but we didn't bid over that. But because I had a strong buyer, there were other things that I could do that would make them feel more comfortable working with my buyer versus somebody else that's throwing out random numbers and then saying, hey, look, if it doesn't appraise at that, we're back down to this number,
Mhm.
It's not always good to offer more money.
Interesting. Everyone, I feel like it's always that kind of thing. You just keep throwing more money at the problem and it should go away.
No, nope. I have seen where sellers have taken a finance offer over a cash offer.
And how does that benefit the seller?
Well, I think in the long run, the sellers are emotional creatures.
It's
And
your home.
yeah, it's their home, and sometimes they meet the person. Sometimes they look at the offer and see it might be a family, and this person might not have all different things come into play. It's no rhyme or reason. I really don't know always why they chose
One over the other.
Yeah, over the other. But I have seen them. My client one time beat out a cash offer. The cash offer was a little bit less, just a little bit. But we basically told them we were going to be cash because we didn't have a financing contingency. So it's in their minds, they said, okay, even though I know they're financing, they're willing to lose this amount of money. So they must be a strong buyer. And he just went ahead and went with it.
Interesting. We did have someone write in and ask, you said you would remove the financing contingency if you have a really good credit score.
Mm-hmm.
Could you help us define what a really good credit score might be?
In the sevens, 700 and up.
Okay.
Anything that's in the sixes is going to be average, so to speak. Now they've gone up. You pretty much need to have somewhere around 650, 640. It used to be 620 and the earlier numbers, but now they've gone up some, and the lenders are saying we want them around 640.
Interesting.
Yeah, but in the sevens, eights, obviously, pretty much you can write your own ticket. So if you have a score in the sevens, that'll help you out tremendously.
And then somebody else just wrote in, do you recommend buying or writing like the little love letters when you're buying a house? Can we pull at the heartstrings?
So our brokers don't want us to do that anymore, because what comes into play is in your letters, you could be saying something that is, what's the word that I'm trying to, against the law, meaning like you could be talking about race, religion. There are all kinds of things that could, that you don't realize that you're saying, but even saying that you have children. So that's saying that, okay, that person might take you over somebody that doesn't have children, or somebody, it creates too many issues, and it can, we have had suits.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So they tell us not to do that anymore. So I haven't done that in a while. It used to work to some degree, but I haven't done it in a while because they don't want us to do that now. I do know that some agents still do it, but I don't like to get my hand slapped, and I don't like to get sued.
That's understandable as well.
and I have not been sued ever.
That's good.
Been written up by the Real Estate Commission ever in 30 years. So I want to keep it that way.
That sounds like a great plan. I love that. And so if people are looking to purchase a house, how long does that pre-qualification, pre-approval process take I guess once you get all your documents?
So it doesn't take that long, because basically what they do is they put you in what they consider desktop underwriting. So you give them your information and they put it in. I don't know what happens in the background,
Right.
but they basically will put you in the system, and the system will say, okay, we can approve that person, or we can't, and here's why. And then they have to do whatever work to try to make it better. I've had actually the last couple of, I had a person that I was working with that desktop underwriting wouldn't approve. And neither one of us could understand why. No matter how much money we said he would be putting down, they wouldn't approve it. And he was going crazy because he makes enough money. He had the finances, his credit score was okay. And come to find out, it was because he's young and he did not have a long credit history. So no matter what we did, it said it kicked him out. So he had to ask his mother, which really bothered him, because he said, I can buy this. I have the money. I have
right.
But we ended up having to ask his mother to sign with him.
It felt like it just took the adulting card away.
Yeah. This is the whole thing. He's an adult now, and he really didn't like that. But I said, well, 6 months from now, or a year, 6 months to a year from now, you can refinance and take her off the loan. So
right.
But so it doesn't take long for them to know what you need to do, if you need to pay off some bills, because I think you and I spoke about the debt to net ratio.
Yeah, let's dive into that a little bit.
So the debt to net ratio is basically how much debt you have, how much debt you have, and each FHA and conventional have a certain amount of a debt that they will allow you to have. And if you go over that, you're going to have to pay off some bills.
Okay.
And so they don't want you, 50% is a lot. If you have 50% debt as opposed to what you make, that's a lot of debt. So they want you to be really as low as possible, but under 30, under 35, under 30.
So someone else almost drawing the line in the sand for you of how much more debt they will provide.
Yes.
Interesting.
And so people always say, well, my rent is this much. I should be able to buy this. The house is the same amount, but the house, they're lending you this money. You're not getting loaned any money when you're renting. They're lending you $300,000. And so they look at that and they want you to fall in this criteria so that they can go ahead and loan you that money. I always tell people, if somebody came to you and asked to borrow $300,000, what are you going to do?
And I was just going to bring that up. I know we kind of talked about that before. And it was interesting because it's like, some people are a little like, they think some people are being too nosy about all that information, but it's also, if you're going to give that money away, what information would you need as well?
All of your business is their business. And they're as simple as that. All of your business. And I'm not saying, all of your business is their business. They want to know everything. They want to know how many kids you have, if you're married, if you're not married, if if you're buying your car, if you're getting ready to buy a car, don't. If you're getting ready to do any big purchases, don't do that when you're buying a house, because it will mess you up. They watch that all the way to the day of closing.
Interesting. That's really good to know.
So if you buy something thinking the day before, oh, well, we're going to close, so they won't ever know. Yes, they do. They will stop it and you will not get that house. It has happened.
Wow.
It's happened.
And then we had another person ask, could you kind of describe the Atlanta market? Why are people buying or not buying, specifically where you're at?
This Atlanta market is crazy. So basically, the reason we were already in a seller's market even before COVID, it just wasn't as bad. Inventory was low, but it wasn't as low as it is now. Right now, there are so many more buyers than there are sellers. The reason that sellers aren't selling their house, one was because of COVID, you know,
Right.
they don't want people coming through their house. That's one. Two is they sell their house, but they need to move, unless they're moving out of state, they need to buy something else, and it's high. And they're going to go through the same problems that you're going through as well, because then they're on the buying end, and they don't want to do that. So there's not that much inventory out here. And if your house is anywhere in good condition, it's gone.
Wow.
It's gone. I mean, that day, they'll have offers on that property. As soon as you put it on the market and you have the pictures up, an hour later, you could have an offer.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive. I mean, that's fast.
Yeah. And I've seen a couple of my coworkers have had 40 offers on one home.
Where do you start?
Imagine trying to manage that.
No, thank you.
And the seller trying to manage that and trying to see what is the best one for them to take. It's a lot.
Yeah, I'm sure. It sounds like it. I mean, it sounds like you got to be on your toes.
Mm-hmm. Yes, for sure.
And then we're just getting some other questions in. So, is there any like HPPA confidentiality or
what HPPA?
Maybe it's supposed to be HIPAA.
Oh,
I don't know. Let me see if
confidentiality as far as
I know we talked a lot about, I think, about the bank trying to give you some money, and your information is their information.
Oh yeah. I mean, obviously they have guidelines that they have to follow. I normally, if I have a client that does not have a lender that they're going to, I will on my website, I have a couple of lenders that they can use, and then that decision. I don't know their information. I don't ask their information because that's not my part of the deal. The only thing that I want to get from the lender is, can they qualify? Because I need to know what they can qualify for when I go out and do my search.
Right.
But I don't get involved in what they have or what they don't have. Now, sometimes they tell me, and they have a right to tell me that.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I don't ask any information as long as I know that they can qualify for this amount. So yes, there are guidelines that the banks have, and there are guidelines for us, as far as what we should know and what we don't know. And like I said, most of the time, my clients end up telling me anyway. So
right. You're just looking for a yes and a magic number to work around.
Yeah. And so a lot of times they'll sit down and talk to me about it and bounce it off of me before they even talk to the lender. So I get privy to that information as well.
Right. Nice. Well, let me see if any other questions come through. I feel like we've really covered this market and, kind of understand some ways that you might be able to get your house through, with the no due diligence period, the financing contingency.
And you also can offer the seller time period after you close so that they can get their furnishings and move to another place. That's another thing that has worked, giving the seller some time to be able to get out of the home after the closing versus before. And a lot of the sellers don't like to move before because they want to make sure that they close. They don't want to move and then find out, oh, we don't close. So
I can see how that would be an issue.
Yeah, that might be a little issue. So that's one of the things that you can offer them as well that might be beneficial for them to look at your offer over somebody else's.
That's a great idea as well. So yeah, it's all about, getting pre-approved, pre-qualified, so you know what you can go in and get. Making sure your credit score is good and making sure that you're, maybe you need to pay off some debt. So your debt to net ratio is good as well. When you go in there and make an offer.
Yep. And save some money.
There you go. Yeah. So thank you so much for coming on today and giving us, some information about the market that's going on right now. I want to make sure that everyone knows that they can always reach out to you for any questions as well. If you're in Atlanta, but I'm sure you know people all across the country. If people are looking to move other places, and you're willing to help people who are moving into Atlanta, out of Atlanta, so it can go either way. So you're at Pollard House Properties or Aleta at yourmodelrealestate.com. You're also one of our purse strings approved professionals. So you have a page on our website as well, so people can look you up there. And so, if anyone has a call, questions, or, needs to get a home, always contact Aleta. She's great, and she'll help you, guide you along the way and make sure you're getting the best bang for your buck.
Well, thank you for having me. And like I said, if there's any questions that you might have, I'll be more than happy to answer them to the best of my ability. And if you're in another state, I can help you out there as well. Maybe even referring agents to you. Okay?
That sounds great. Thank you so much. And we'll talk soon.
Okay. You take care.
Bye, everyone. See you next week.
Bye-bye.